Okay. Oh, Big Joe Willie did this one as well.
You're a big Joe Willie.
Oh, thank you.
Go on. Go on. Start the fucking podcast.
All right. All right. Cass wanted us to do an intro.
Bryn.
Yay! Welcome to CDR, where we give our very unprofessional opinion about an album we've listened to a week. From this guy who knows nothing about music, me, Bryn, and the guy that knows a little bit more, Matthew.
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit. This week we have been listening to Black Keys, Delta Kream. This album paying tribute to a lot of the music that they used to listen to when they were growing up, music that they influenced their music and they learned to play when they were teenagers. Delta blues or Mississippi blues is the genre based back in the late 20s, which was a black guitar dominated genre. And there is a museum dedicated to this genre, obviously being to the very the big names that came through to give the, when you say African Americans, or we just call them?
I think you know that was fine, yes.
Thank you. In this album, these guys are paying tribute to John Lee Hooker, Mississippi Fred McDowell, R.L. Burnside Jr., Kimborn, Rennie Bennett, Big Joe Williams.
Big Joe Willie.
Big Joe Willie. This is their 10th album, and it only took 10 hours over 2 afternoons and no rehearsal. And
it shows.
It shows all the way through it. There's a lot of sound checks, checking with each other, making sure everything works. In the first track being Crawling King Snake, which is an extended 6 minutes.
Yep.
And there's not many lyrics in it.
No, I mean that is you've basically explained the album.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
This is all dedicated. These are all covers from these people with a Black Keys twist to it.
Yep.
The original King Snake was only like 2 minutes 30, 40 long. Then Big Willie did it after that. Then...
The Doors?
Big Joe Willie was the one who started it. Then it was the Hooker. And then the Doors, an LA Woman. And that was 5 minutes. It seems that every time someone does a remake of this, they like to extend it. And I think we should just stop at the Keys extension, because they did do a bonus track at the very end of the album, being the edited edition, which is still just under 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think I like that one more than I like the 6 minute one.
Of course, right.
Yeah.
So how was your week with the album?
This album's so chilled. It's a great album put in the afternoon and just relax, dinner, whatever you're doing.
Yep.
For much more after that, you can't really get a good boost of energy from this. No teeth, Matt.
No teeth. No teeth. Can guarantee 100% no teeth. Checked it. All gum.
All gum. Just a gummy worm.
Just big old gums. Yeah.
Yeah. Boys bringing in 4 other instruments. Normally, if you don't know, the Black Keys are a duo. Originally starting... So, how they got together, Matthew.
Righto. Story time. Dan,
the guitarist, so they knew each other, grew up in the same neighborhood, used to jam with each other. Dan being the captain of the soccer team, Patrick being the social outcast, but was very much into music. Dan wanted to make his way in the music industry, and he organized a recording with Patrick. Patrick wasn't in the band at this time, so he turned up one afternoon to do it. His backup players, no one turned up.
Yep.
So it was just him and Patrick, and then they just jammed.
That's
and
cool.
5 or 6 years later, they bring out their first album. I think that they paid for themselves. So they paid for a lot of their albums. After that is Thick Freakness, which was the first album I bought of the Black Keys. Still has one of my favorite songs on there. And here we are, number 10.
And so with that back catalogue and history with you, how was your week with the album?
This is not a Black Keys. This is not the Black Keys everyone's looking for. This is not their mainstream. Definitely not really a radio song except for the edit for King Snake.
At a stretch,
yeah. There's no Lonely Boy. There's no Tighten Up, Brother.
Gold on the Ceiling.
Gold on the Ceiling. None of that.
Yep.
There's none of these feels. This is just all tribute to these legends of the genre with a little bit of Black Keys twist, and somewhere along the line, a little bit of 70s in there too. Yeah,
there's a bit of a mix. And yeah, I get Eric Clapton and ZZ Top flavors at different points during the album.
Yeah, I got the Doors.
Yeah.
And I think, which one did I... We'll probably come across it at some time. Oh, Poor Boy.
Oh. Poor boy, I'm a long way from home.
Matt's favorite line in the whole thing.
You know, it's a pretty good line, to be honest. And he sings it well. I think I sing it well.
He sings it
FYI.
like his... It's just the Black Keys way of singing it.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing you're going to get to Lonely Boy, I think.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I will hold on to that.
That's the only thing I'm holding on to.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice through this album is Patrick, the drummer, is not getting to do very much besides keep the speed and the tempo. It's really just all guitar dominated. It fucking is. And it's a little bit sad, but hopefully in live events, Pat gets to just rip into it and do just change it up like Travis Scott does sometimes.
Well, I mean, in live events, you'd imagine the other songs are where he gets to sort of flex his muscle, and it happens from time to time. I mean, take for instance Weezer's OK Human album. There's not a single proper guitar on that, but they're predominantly a pop punk band, right? So it's not the end of the world. The drummer will live, and sure, it might not be the most interesting music for him to play technically.
It's going back to their roots, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
And one of my notes I made in here is it sounds like they're having fun.
Yes.
And this probably would be a good album to learn if you're a guitarist. Like, there's a lot of fun riffs. Yeah. Throughout it, I enjoyed. If I wanted to learn a whole album, this is probably be it.
Sure.
I mean, it's easy. Blues chords are a lot of fun.
Yeah, and they have that particular feel that makes you sound cool when you start to experiment a bit with some bluesy licks.
It's very a bit of a beginner thing. If you start out blues, you might just pick up a few notes or chords that you go, yeah, sound pretty good. Basic shit.
Yeah.
Basic bitch principles. But, Matthew, how was your week?
I mean, I think you know how my week with this was.
He was bored.
Well, I was bored, and that's the problem. I enjoy the concept. I enjoy the idea of having like a social afternoon gathering, getting the Black Keys, putting them sort of in a nice, sort of central, sort of corner-ish spot in the party room, having them play this album. It would be totally chill, totally vibing with the atmosphere. And then from time to time, sort of zone in, zone out with the music. I think that would be great. Yeah. To listen to it for the music itself, whilst some of the songs have some flavors to them that are interesting. It's not really an album I find that I can just fall and be engrossed in. There's not enough ideas in there to really sort of capture my attention. Every single song is basically the title riff that basically plays throughout the entire song. And then a little bit of singing, good singing. And this is the thing too, the production quality feels really, really good. His voice sounds really good. And even though the guitar playing is a little bit imperfect, I think it fits the mold of the album that they're trying to do. The problem is that the formula for the album starts to feel stale after the first two songs, and it doesn't ever change. Now, I didn't know that it was a covers album going into it. I don't think you did either, but you picked up on the fact that it was. I don't think it changes my opinion. I can appreciate that this is a fun idea and would tickle them to do, but yeah, it's a slow listen.
It really, really is, and you are right. There's sometimes in there that the guitar just really hits a bung note.
Yeah,
you unless you're listening to it for I don't know how many times you've listened to it.
Once a day.
Once a day. Well, if you listen to it once a day, you're definitely going to hear once in a while just a bung note or a twang, or you're just like, oh, you just. There were some times where I just thought one guitar was way out of time, and it was just almost like
jarring.
Yeah.
See, I didn't mind it. It gave it that live aesthetic. The problem for me is less the quality of the playing, more the difficulty I had to really engage with the ideas because I found them so few and far between. That was probably my biggest gripe. Maybe see the playing did suit the music. That's the thing that I did enjoy. Maybe I would have liked a little bit more technical flair for some of the songs, especially like the bluesy songs. There could have been some particularly interesting licks that are played, and I don't know how truthful the soloing is to the originals. My suspicion is that there's a fair bit of ad-lib, right?
There would be a lot. I would say majority of these songs being from the 20s or 30s and 40s, that there wasn't really solos. It's just most of them would have just been a guitar, and that's it. So I would have loved a bit more technical proficiency to keep me interested during the solos. The solos sound nice relative to the music, but they're not super complex or super interesting on their own. And because I found the music to be light on ideas, it was very hard to engage in any deeper way. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I get that. I mean, ideas weren't flooding considering the covers.
Yeah, and that's... As soon as you mentioned that to me just before, I sort of went like, oh, doy, like...
The songs,
of course.
Did any of the lyrics really make sense? I mean, the only thing I thought was crawling king snake was a peeping Tom.
I mean, yeah, that makes some sense, I guess. I mean, and that's the thing. I went and gave, like, because the songs are hard enough to distinguish between, because they're so formulaic in their construction, I basically had to give them awards or different little monikers so that I could actually work out what song was what. And, you know, like, the best one-liner was Poor Boy, A Long Way From Home, and that's how I remember that song. It has the coolest one-liner on the album, and that's how I remember it.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the things that I've written down aren't particularly clever beyond that. Should we go through the track list, or?
Yeah, let's do it real quick. There's when it comes to the lyrics, there's nothing to really say, so we'll just touch bases on not the drums, just all guitars. And a little bit of
sitar.
Sitar?
I feel like I heard some sitar in there at some point.
I mean, there's a steel guitar definitely getting smashed
maybe
through there.
I'm mishearing it. But
and the keyboard.
Yeah, there was a little bit of keyboard. I did enjoy that because that feels really Black Keys to me.
That felt really outdoors. Sorry, not outdoors. It felt like the Doors to me. That was just flooding back of, it sounds like so much like it.
Yeah, cool. I tell you what, I'll give you the line that I have for the song and then you can say something about it if you like.
Sure, go for it.
So, Crawling King Snake, I've got biggest dread because I heard it and I'm like, oh boy, please be not like this for the rest of the album.
Probably the most interesting thing for me was that they made a little suspense with the guitars throughout. Like the guitars were playing their own story along with the lyrics, but because there's two going at the same time, they were doing two completely different riffs, but at least keeping to the singing and like always bringing up and down at the same time as the singing. But they had moments where they would draw out notes to kind of create this suspense, and the guitars throughout the whole album do this where they paint more of a picture than the lyrics do.
Oh, absolutely no arguments there on that point.
Yeah. Okay. Louise being my favorite, I thought the intro was it really hooked me in.
Oh, I've got
like
best riff for this one.
I also wrote down this is probably the most punchy out of the drums.
Yeah, potentially. I just think there's a subtle. The subtleness of the riff, I think, is the thing that I particularly like. And the drummers obviously get to do something a bit more interesting than just...
Yeah, I'm wondering how technical the drumming really was.
No, I reckon... Because day one, that's what you'd learn, right? Can you keep a 4/4 beat? Yes, you're in.
We'll need to call someone to figure that one out. in that one, I also just said like the guitar like talks through it. Like there's a lot of bends that kind of ring with the lyrics or outside of the lyrics in their solos.
Yep.
Matt going on to Poor Boy, A Long Way From Home.
Coolest one-liner in the song.
One-liner.
It just that I reckon is where he sounds just like I think that's his best vocal line in the whole album as well. I think he sings it the best, and it's the coolest one-liner. So
yep. This one kind of picks up pace, and somewhere in the middle, there's just this minute of solo from 30 seconds from one guitar and then 30 seconds in the other guitar. And we may want to just put it out there. We'll be talking a lot, or may not talk a lot about it anymore. Is that you're going to find about 2, 3, or even 4 solos per song.
Yeah. The guitar is the one talking, not the lead singer.
Black guitar dominated genre, people.
So for Stay All Night, I have best bedroom vibe.
Oh, yes.
Like this is something you have to have on in the background when you're getting bum chicka wowing, right?
I said slow love song, not pushing too hard.
Not pushing too hard unless... Yeah, you get it.
Yep. Use lube. Don't push too hard.
Very good.
30 seconds at the start of like this sound check. I was like, oh. This is the one that I was like, this is all a set.
See, I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. I like when you can hear them just goofing off at the start or end of a track.
Yeah.
But not too much. Just do it like the once and then move on. Like I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. Going down south, I have as chillest.
Oh, this is my Doors feel. This is the more concentrating in the solos in this throughout the whole song. I thought.
Sure.
It just feels like the guitar's trying to play a solo the whole way through.
Wait, there were solos in this song?
A couple.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
Don't worry about that. This is also his high-pitched singing voice.
Oh, I'm going down south. Actually, yeah, I didn't mind that vocal line either. I think he has a interesting enough falsetto that I think it carries well enough.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely can hit different ranges, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Cool Black Matty. I thought this was sick. This is dirty.
Dirty
Blues Highway, builds for a crescendo. This is a song I would think is like, if you're in trouble, this is a perfect song for you.
Yeah, I've got most like ZZ Top. That's every time I hear this, I'm just like, that is a ZZ Top riff. That just is quintessential for me.
Oh, in fact, you say Quint is reminding me of Quentin Tarantino. I was like, there could be some of these songs that would be perfect for one or two of his scenes.
I was worried about what you're going to say because the only other Quinn that I can think is like Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. I was really hoping you weren't going down that particular path. You're like, oh, Quinn, yeah, let me just, I had a thing about Quinn. I'm like,
Quinn.
shit.
Is she a pimple popper? Damn.
No, it was a TV show from like the 90s. Think like Grey's Anatomy, but like, believe it or not, worse. Anyway.
2 shows I have not watched.
Good. Keep it that way.
I am trying.
Cass wants to watch them so bad.
Oh my god, she tried watching Dawson's Creek the other day. Oi, if there is ever a cancel culture for a TV show, that should be it. First episode is literally a teacher getting it with one of the students.
Yeah, but that's not... It doesn't fit the mold of that particular...
Oh, that's okay. Because she's smoking hot.
Moving right along. Do the Romp I have as the best reimagined blues track.
Oh, this is quintessential blues track for me.
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Yes,
blues
Dr.
track.
Quinn, Medicine Woman. This is where I think that this just sounds lazy and out of time, unfortunately.
Okay.
But, you know, I'm professional.
Sad Days, Lonely Nights, I've got his best walking track.
Best walking track?
Yeah.
I like the simplicity, but it's quite effective throughout this.
Yeah. It's
there's
actually
not
a little bit
lot.
upbeat too.
It's a little upbeat, but there's no flashiness going on here.
Yep.
But it's just got this real smooth ride through it.
Yep.
For some reason, I wrote down head hung down. I don't know why I wrote that down. I think it's a lyric, and it may be just like one of my favorite parts in that whole song.
Well, you're wrong, because it's Poor Boy, A Long Way From Home is the good lyric.
Walk With Me, I thought was quite interesting, because it's like a walking bass pick. Then it does like a 3/4 and then a 4/4 at the start, which is enough to keep me interested.
I have worst walking track.
Worst walking track. No.
Yeah, I know. False advertisement. Walk with me. I'd rather not.
What? Not even when you get to look at Mellow Peaches?
That's the next one.
Yes, it is.
Simplest lyrics for Mellow Peaches.
Oh,
It's literally about picking fucking peaches.
it really, really is, and it's got a 1:45 ending. Like
Yeah.
it's a short song too.
Yeah.
For this album, it's a short song.
And yet it feels long.
Yeah, I think this is like 3 minutes 30, and there's a 1:45 towards the end of no lyrics.
Yep.
Come on and go with me. This is what I says like, oh, slow cry for help. It's dreamy.
So I've got most like Eric Clapton.
That probably makes sense why it's slow cry and asking for help.
Nailed on the head.
Thank you. I do like the keyboards and the guitar like playing off each other, and this is probably the most entertaining thing into this track. If anything, this is also what would be the ending to this the final track if it wasn't for they had the edit of King Snake at the end.
I'm happy for it to go unsaid. It's shortened version.
Yep.
Happy days.
There's the radio version, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of like this. I don't know what it's about soft, dreamy songs at the end. I kind of like that. It's a good, for this album, I felt like it worked well.
I must admit, I wasn't really sure what to want at the end of the album because it felt like it never really hit any peaks or hit any troughs. It sort of just stayed in its lane.
Yep.
And so it would have been strange for there to be something particularly different as the last track. Yeah, it's good enough for it, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think we're coming to the end of the album.
Thankfully.
Matt's gonna say it's a bit boring, a bit bland. It has a place.
It absolutely does.
It does have a fucking place in a scenario or a.
It's great background listening.
Oh my god, for a dinner party
Absolutely.
or whatever. Or if you just, for some reason, I keep thinking cooking dinner.
It has a really good groove to it where if you're not listening to it actively, it feels pleasant and warm to listen to.
Yeah, well, it was all guitars, so it's.
But his vocals are also not like oppressive in any way, shape, or form. They're full. They really complement the tracks. They have a quality to them that is very listenable.
Yeah.
If you're listening to it to deconstruct it for all of its musical nuance, you will be left wanting.
Yep.
But yeah, it has a great groove, I think.
I think if you want to take a sneak peek into the Black Keys' past and the influence and get a feel for where they came from, I mean, it's blues. There's not a lot of representation of blues in the mainstream of music, and it's good to see that they're still killing it. Like 10th album.
Yeah.
10 fucking albums. First one was in 2001.
We'll quote you on that.
Little number down here will say it.
Yeah, 1997 or something. What? 1997? Shit.
Damn it. Buy Mac stocks.
Yeah.
Buy the Apple.
Yeah, get in quick.
Matt,
I have nothing more to say.
no, what's your score? Let's move on.
It's a bunch of covers of like old tracks. I'm actually not going to give it a score this week.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
NA out of 10.
Would you ever put this on when you're cooking? If you ever cook?
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't cook. But I take your meaning. It's the chill groove. You can have it on in the background. It's nice to listen to. Yes. Yeah. Fuck it. If I go home and cook spaghetti bolognese, I'll put it in.
Yep, that's about as extent of Matt's cooking skills and scrambled eggs.
I don't do scrambled eggs.
You don't do so fucking pathetic.
Next week's album.
All right, tell me.
We're going into a genre we haven't gone into before. No, don't guess the genre. Shush. I'm just going to tell you the album and deal. We're going to listen to Nurture by Porter Robinson.
Which one's not? Porter Robinson's obviously the artist.
And Nurture is the album we're listening to.
Awesome.
Yes, we're doing it, Brenny boy. New territories.
Yeah, we're listening to a meditation album.
I don't know. I haven't listened to it.
Okay, what genre is it?
Shh. Next week, Brenny boy.
Okay, next week. This has been CDR. Leave your opinions of what you thought about this album and any fun facts. They're always good to read.
And like, comment, and subscribe. That's still your script.
No, I don't like asking people to comment and subscribe.
Fuck it.
You're the one that was like, I just want things to organically grow naturally without any effort. Well, you know what? If you want to subscribe and follow, fucking do it. But I'm not going to tell you.
Dislike, don't subscribe.
Don't subscribe and fucking report this video. All right, we're CDR. I've got a new notebook. I've done heaps of notes. Later, people.
Bye-bye. You gonna chuck it on?
Oh, fuck. Oh, it's over there.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if your phone made it that far.
I doubt it. Oh.